Hi everyone. So I have a new product for you to go take a look at. This is with Pink Salt Wall. So they're a source of pure Himalayan salt. I think we all kind of, have our salt lamps and everything, which I do have. But with them, they offer high quality Himalayan pink salt products that can enhance your environment and help with respiratory and skin issues. Their collection includes Himalayan salt bricks, tiles, building blocks, licking salt blocks for your animals. That sounds interesting. Salt lamps and cooking plates, and much more. All their products are shipped directly from their factory in Pakistan and are available locally through their warehouse in Maryland, United States. So, yeah, if you're interested in taking part in that, you can go down to the show notes where you'll see a link to their website through me. So you're supporting them as well as supporting the podcast as well. So if you go to www.pinksaltwall.com/Tanika Thomas, that's all in caps, you can partake in these amazing products and again, support the podcast. Now it's enough of me. Let's head back to the podcast. Patreon, going strong. If you want to go over there and join in on the fun, we got 3 tiers on Canadian dollars. First tier is $3 a month, where you get these episodes ad free. You also get AMAs once a month, or learn about me episodes once a month. And then on the second tier, which is $5 a month, you get everything from the first tier, as well as coverage of a reality show of yesteryear. That's right now Jersey Shore, currently in season 3. You can also go to the main feed, where there will be the first episode of every season released there. So you can try that before you head over to the Patreon. And then on the third tier, you get everything from the first 2 tiers, as well as coverage from a true crime documentary. We got the backlog of Ashley Madison documentary, Man with 1,000 Kids, Into the Fire, Lacey Peterson, and again, all those episodes for the first episode of each is in the main feed, so you can try that before you head over. So if you are interested, you can head over to patreon.com/realityt ×2, and you can sign up for whichever tier you feel for. Again, you can try before you buy, which basically means you can try any tier for a week before committing to it. Even if you are on other tier, if you are on tier 1 or the first tier and you want to go over to the second tier, you could still try that second tier for a week before committing to the upgrade. So again, that is at patreon.com/realityt ×2. And of course, the link is in the show notes, website, social media accounts. It's all available there. This episode is ad-free on the Patreon. So if you want to partake in that, you can head on over to patreon.com/realityt ×2. Welcome to Reality T ×2, the podcast where we discuss all the trash reality TV we love to hate. I'm Tanika, and today we are going to be discussing the finale of Temptation Island. All right, y'all, let's just jump right in. So, we left off with Scarlett and Cole going to their bonfire. So just in case we need the reminder of how we do this, each person gets to speak uninterrupted. The other will listen. And then there will be a chance to have a dialogue back and forth, and then the decision will be made. So Cole goes first with his thoughts. He says to her, I don't know how far things went, I don't know where I stood. You built an emotional connection with one person, obviously that being Bradley. You went on multiple dates with that same person. We said we wouldn't do that. I felt like you did it to hurt me, and well, you did. Now it's her turn to say her stuff. She's like, we had no trust, no foundation, no communication. We were stuck on no physical connection. Our journey was not about cheating. Will you not lie to me anymore? Like, that is her question. And I think that's a fair question. She's like, I don't want to be hurt anymore. I feel like me again is what she says. We deserve so much better. Now we have our conversation back and forth. He says, I felt devastated. I wasn't sleeping, but I could see you were connecting with Bradley. She says again, as she said before, we never said that we couldn't connect emotionally, which, in my honest opinion, is worse than the physical. Um, she said, I thought connecting with one person would have been more beneficial, which I agree with. You're having a connection with one person, you're building confidence with that one person, and building, you're getting advice from that one person who actually may or may not give a shit. She says she hasn't seen depth from him. He says, well, I'm not the same person as before. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. I don't know. I feel like we really didn't see a lot of Cole during this because he was hiding in a corner. But I definitely, at the end of the day, like I've said, don't think he's the worst guy here. So she says, when I say emotional depth, do you get it? Like, do you know what that means? He says, I got to tell you something. You want to talk about emotional depth? I got a secret to tell you. He says, after the video you sent, I was scared. So at your villa, I went through your journal. The one thing he's not supposed to do. And she truly believes that he's only telling her this because it was on camera, which I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't believe that's the case. I do believe he's saying this because he genuinely cares. You could tell from then he's like, shit, should I be doing this? I mean, if off camera, he's never done that. Why would he do that on camera? You know what I mean? I don't think he cared. So I don't, to give him the benefit of the doubt, I really, truly do not think that's the case. So they got nothing more to say at this point. It's time to make a decision. Cole, I think without any shock, decides to leave with her. She, however, decides to leave alone. She says she needs to protect herself. He says, we live together. Like, what am I supposed to do? And she's like, you know what? We'll just cross that bridge when we get there. They say goodbye to each other. And that's the end of Cole and Scarlett. So am I shocked by this? No, because my girl kept talking about emotional depth and wanting her soul to be set on fire. I wasn't surprised by her decision to walk. I wasn't surprised by his decision to stay. Not at all surprised by either of them. I didn't make any predictions of what I thought what would happen. Of course, I know the answer because I watched the reunion. But did I think that was the right decision for them? No, I think she made a mistake. But it is what it is. Sydney and Mikey are next. They don't hug. Surprise to nobody. He looks like he's barely keeping himself together at this point. My guy is already crying, I guess. Mikey goes first with his thoughts. He starts with, no matter what, we leave here with respect. Okay? I was miserable in there. Okay? My trust, it was broken by the first bonfire, biting your lip when he's playing the guitar. I had to watch you fall in love with someone else. I didn't do shit in there. I didn't kiss a girl. I didn't do nothing in there. True. He's done. He said his part. She says, I had one goal, to come in with you and to leave with you. Every guy asked me why I was here. You never showed me off. You never put me first. I realized I made myself smaller so you could shine. See what I mean? She said that before too. I feel like you love the idea of me. I realized I was settling. Damn, you don't come back from that. I choose me. I feel like she already gave her decision without really giving her decision. Um, so to have further conversation. He says, I wasn't perfect. Or she says, I wasn't perfect. I was worth it. College me is gone. He says, it doesn't mean I don't have triggers. I think that's what she says. And she continues to say, like, this is the first real conversation like that we're having. You would smile when we have conversations. You know what? In his defense, just because he's smiling doesn't mean he's not taking this seriously. He could be smiling because he's nervous, because he's uncomfortable. It's a reaction. It's his body betraying him. I don't think that means he's not taking it seriously. He says, I'm running from my feelings. And she knows all of that, but she can't keep taking on his stuff. He says to her that he's sorry. He says, you deserve the world, and I can tell it's too late. Mark says, Mikey, you have grown into a man during these 3 weeks. You're going to be okay. But how we got a choice? So let's go to the choice. He says, you know what I want to say, or he says, you know what I want to say, which is obviously he wants to stay with her, but I have to go home alone because obviously that's what she's going to do anyways. Sydney says that she's going to leave with Xavier, y'all. She's not leaving alone. She's leaving with her new mans. They hug goodbye, which is interesting. They didn't even have to hug hello. Then he leaves. Mikey leaves, and we bring out Xavier. He's really happy to leave with her, and she tells him that she's genuinely falling in love with him. And he's like, well, girl, I have been 3 weeks. Okay. Anyways, that's them two. Now, am I shocked that how this turned out? No, not at all. I'm surprised that they were as cordial as they were, actually, to be totally honest. I'm happy he, I guess, held his pride together and didn't say, I want to leave with you. And I'm not surprised that she chose Xavier, but I kind of would have hoped that she just chose to leave on her own, stand on your own 2 feet. I would have preferred that over choosing Xavier, but it is what it is. We'll talk about where they are now when we go to the reunion. Now we got Cheyenne and Jack. Ooh, boy, buckle up. When he gets there, he acknowledges her. He says hello to her, says that she looks beautiful. Not a damn thing from her. Not a hi, Jack. Not a fuck you, Jack. Not a nothing. So Jack talks first. He says, this is hard. It was hard not getting a video from you, but at the end of the day, like, I get it. I know you didn't want to be here, but I think we were here for a reason. You have to blow it up. We were stuck. See, to blow it up because they were stuck. They were unhappy. I don't regret the 5 years because I love you. You don't believe me. I'm sure you don't. And she says, I don't think you thought about me. You said I would never feel this way, and you did. You made me feel this way. I didn't want to be here because I knew how this would turn out. For the month before getting here, I was already grieving the relationship. So thank you. Go time. So she says, we were the longest relationship, and you did me the dirtiest. By the second bonfire, you got physical with someone else when you said you wouldn't do that. And he says, I made you unhappy and you made me unhappy. So wait, is that justifying your actions? You may have been unhappy, but I'm sorry, grown-ass adults have conversations about being unhappy. You don't go out there and start kissing one person and kissing another person, you know what I mean? And he said, "I wouldn't give enough, so," or you said, "I wouldn't give enough, so why be with me?" And he says, "I was afraid to be alone," which is really great. Um, and we were unhappy. But you did that to me, she says. You knew you were unhappy. Mark says, "Your anger is valid, but you met each other young and you grew each other up to this point. So is there anything you can thank each other for, just having some form of something between these two?" She says, "You have been there for me. Once time has healed us, maybe we can be, I don't know." She kind of said maybe we could be friends, but she's like, "Oh, geez, I don't even know about that." He says, "Thank you for being there for me. I want to be the man you say you need from me. You never know what could happen." Like he's kind of holding on to, you never know what could happen in the future. Decision time at this point. I think it's no surprise to anybody. Jack says he's going to go alone. She says, "I did make a connection with someone, but I'm leaving the island alone." And I think that is the best decision for both of them. So that's basically it for those two. Am I shocked by their decision? Abso-fucking-lutely not. Let's move on to the final couple. Smith and Kaylee are next. Kaylee goes first. She says, "I wasn't always the happiest. I leaned on you to find happiness, and that's not fair to you. But I feel like a lot of my needs aren't being met. I feel like a chore, which, God, can you imagine? I don't always feel worthy of your love." Those are her thoughts. His are, he says, "Seeing what she said, it hurt. It shocked him. I don't want the person I love to think of me in that way. With all that being said, I acknowledge what you say. I understand you. You deserve the best." He brings up the fact that she said, he's a psychopath. And she says, "I didn't say that." He did. And he reminds her of the context because she does ask. And she says, "I don't think you are. I don't think you're a psychopath. Maybe I said you were acting like a psychopath. Still, it's not great when you say that." But anyways, she does admit, "I said that in anger. And I am sorry." But he tells her she is enough. She's enough, y'all. So decision time. She wants to leave with him. He decides he wants to leave with her. Also, he wants to get a dog together and he wants to move in together. She says yes to that. I thought this was sweet. So yeah, they're the only couple that are leaving together. The last season we had two people leave together. So am I shocked by this? To be totally honest, yeah. Just based on everything that we were hearing about Submit and like the kind of person he was towards her, yeah, I'm a little surprised, not gonna lie. And then him also like having like a breakdown as to like whether or not he can make this work with her without having to like fully commit to like marriage and that kind of thing. I wasn't sure how this was gonna turn out, but I mean, it turned out well. So yay. But yeah, that's basically it, y'all. That's the finale. That's the episode. Um, I don't think I'm going to put anything else on the episode for this one. Again, another quick one, but we will be jumping in with the reunion episodes. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be doing that in two parts. We'll see how it goes because it was two parts, but we'll see how it goes with that. Maybe I'll do it in one big part, but anyways, I'll just say quickly at the end here, probably already come out, but we'll see. For Patreon, the bonus episode for April is coming. It's going to take a little bit, but it is coming your way. I just need to rewatch some stuff to refresh because what we're going to be doing on that episode. So it is coming if it hasn't come already. not to worry. And also, probably it's already been released too, but the bonus episode from my other podcast is also coming for April. That's coming as well, but by now, by the time you hear this, it's probably already been released. But anyways, that is it for me, and that is it for this episode. If you liked what you heard, bear with me because I have not done an outro for this for the podcast in quite some time. So bear with me here. So if you liked what you heard, you can go to any of your favorite podcast apps. You can like, follow, make sure you don't miss a single episode. And you can also rate the podcast at either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. It'd be greatly appreciated. As a reminder, any 5-star ratings that are given to the podcast or any comments that are given to the podcast will be read on the podcast, which I have done in the past. If you want to connect with the podcast through social media, you can find me at Facebook and Instagram at Reality T times 2. You can also find me at Twitter, TikTok, and Blue Sky at Reality times 2 pod. I believe you can email me at realityt times 2 at hotmail.com, and you can have any inquiries, anything like that, any ideas, any shows or episodes you want me to cover, you can definitely do that over there. And I am going back to our old website, and that is at solo.to/realityt times 2. There you can get any of the links to anything that I didn't mention here, any of the socials, website, email, all of that. It's all there for you. And we also have a new thing there where you can help support the podcast as well. It's called a tip jar. And you could tip whatever your heart's desire if you want to support the podcast, but don't want to necessarily support the podcast in going to Patreon, for example, or any of the links in any of the advertisements. You can do it there. But since we're on the topic of Patreon, you can head on over to patreon.com/reality times 2, where there you can get access to even more than what I do here. There are 3 different tiers where you can get these shows ad free, as well as our next tier up where you would get another reality show that's being covered. So, we have Jersey Shore that's been getting covered. That's still being covered currently at the time of recording of this outro, but the future is bright with what's to come in the future, which I will be discussing, or I have discussed. I don't even know. And then also our next tier is a true crime tier as well. So you can definitely head over for that. But that is basically it. I will also just quickly mention here too, if you're interested in a different take of a podcast that I'm a part of, we do things a little differently, you can head on over to Next Take Podcast, where I usually drop bonus episodes here on this feed, but there you get a lot more. And that podcast is making changes. We're growing, doing new things, but you can definitely head on over there if you want to just hear a little bit different than what I do over here. So you can find that podcast over at our website, solo.to/next take podcast. And there we'll have all the links to your desire that will link you to any of your favorite podcast apps or YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all of it. Social medias, it's all over there. But of course, you can still find that podcast at any of your favorite podcast apps. But that is it for this episode. We'll see you next time with another episode. Bye, everybody.